What up, what up, what up? We back for another week of the Rick and Jordy podcast. I'm one half of your host, Jordy.
And I'm the other half of your host, Rick. What's going on, y'all?
And today we have a special guest with us. My brother Denzel Whitaker. He is an actor, producer, director, writer. Just a creative, an entrepreneur,
filmmaker.
I don't have the words to express our gratitude for you taking your time out to be here with us today. And all the hats that you wear. Man, hey, you got anything to start us off with? You got any knowledge to kick us off with? What you got for us?
Knowledge to kick us off with, man.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm here. I'm present. I'm excited to talk to you guys. That's all. You know.
Hey,
let's start with this. I'm just happy to be here.
Hey, let's start with this because as I followed you, I saw that you a lot of times, like on Instagram, not just randomly, but on Instagram, I see that you'll post like cars and things like that. You love cars.
I love cars.
I wanted to ask this question. I'm gonna ask it here.
Okay.
All right, like 3 questions in series. All right. First car you've ever owned. Best car you've ever driven, or favorite car you've ever driven. And then a dream car that you have not driven yet, but would like to, or like to own.
Dream cars, there's a list, so we'll get to that. Let's start with the first question. My first car was a 2007 Civic EX, 2-door, silver on the exterior, black on the interior. Did not go for the leather package. I kept it cloth. Did a couple mods to that. Ended up selling it for an Infiniti G35 after. My favorite car that I've ever driven probably was what year was that? That had to been a 2019 Porsche GT3 RS. Is one of my pop's old car. Oh my God, that thing is incredible. Revs to 9,000 miles per hour. The RPM on it is stupid, but also it's insane the way that it handles. The downforce on it when you throw it into a turn is incredible. One of my favorite experiences that I've ever driven. Dream cars, there's a plethora. I'm a big Porsche guy, so I would probably own a massive garage of Porsches. I would love to drive a Ferrari F40, eventually. Koenigsegg, a Pagani. A Pagani Utopia would be super fire just to have, but it's like a piece of art. You wouldn't want to drive it. I'm trying to think out what else would I would. I'm like a half in, half out Lamborghini guy. Everybody says, Lamborghini. It's kind of like the poster you put on your wall as a child.
Yeah.
Same with like Ferraris. Ferraris are great. They're maintenance nightmares. A very, very exciting Ferrari to drive, but it's not a newer Ferrari, is probably an F355. And if you could get one that doesn't explode and that has proper maintenance, it is a incredible car.
What do you mean if you can get one that doesn't explode?
So the thing about the F355 is they're notorious for like problematic maintenance. Every time you have to do the service on the timing chain, you literally have to remove the engine from the rear compartment. It's a whole thing, and then you have to put the engine back in. On top of that, the rear grille, the way they have built it from factory, it pretty much didn't have any holes or cutouts. So all the time that engine was prone to overheating. So then they sold an aftermarket component, from Ferrari and all the following models moving forward, where there was now this grille that gave it more airflow. But some of those engines have known to like combust, like literally just catch on fire. And yes, an engine is supposed to combust, but they would just catch on fire. They're extremely problematic. That was like a thing about Ferrari, is Ferrari would build cars that need to be maintained.
Yeah.
I mean, with that maintenance, they built them to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
Also to keep the customer coming back to have them routinely serviced so they can keep money.
Cool. Yeah.
They didn't build them to be, like reliable. You know what I mean? Not like your economy car.
Yeah.
Very near reliable.
Oh, yeah. So it's the thought of, if you can afford the car, then you can afford maintenance and keep it up.
Exactly.
Bruh, here's the thing, like, I see those cars and I'd be like, man, those are always nice. So when my wife and I were before we got married, you know how they always do like their the bachelorette party, and they do like favorite cars, and like they you have to guess what the significant other likes or whatever. And so they asked her what my favorite car was. I'm not huge in cars. So when her maid of honor like gave me this list of questions, I was like, all right. So I used to work at Toyota in college. So I went with the Toyota Avalon. I was like, this is a car that I remember I watched it and I was like, this car I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not big on cars like that. So she was like, oh, I don't know, like a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. And everybody laughed. It was like, nah. He said Toyota Avalon. She was like, a Avalon, a Toyota. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a car like that.
They're reliable. And look, I get it. Not everybody's into cars.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is like, because me and my buddy have this argument all the time, and he's another car guy. And he's like, you know, people can't appreciate a nice car. You know, people know the exotic brands and, you know, the labels, and they see something flashy and, ooh, that sounds cool. But to be honest with you, you get your little shorty in the ride, right?
Yeah.
After about maybe the first hour or so, she's pissed off because the engine's right in back of her. She's hearing this loud drone. You know, you're constantly shifting. It's literally so high strung to where, especially if you were driving a manual, but none of the cars are manual anymore, it's like you have to apply a certain amount of force to get this car going. And then it wants to rev more. And it's not going to be as comfortable of a shifting, you know, experience, like say for someone S-Class or like a G-Wagon, or something that's a little more cozy. People don't want the nice exotic cars. To be honest, they're like go-karts on the street. They're highly impractical.
Yeah.
But most people, you have to have a deep love for these exotic cars, or either you're just showing off.
Yeah.
And to that point, you know, like you go to South Beach, cats will only pull up in an Aventador or something like that. They'll choose the craziest color with the pearlescent paint. And the brake calipers got to look different from the exterior paint job, which is fun, and that's all great. But you actually know like why this car was built, you know, the time that it took, the research and development, why this certain leather was used over this material, or maybe Alcantara in this part. Like, I love the craftsmanship of building a vehicle.
Yeah.
So like, I want to know the history. I want to know, you know, what did the engineers put into the car? Why is it made this way? So me, there's more of a love and respect of just engineering in general, you know, that goes past just, oh, it's a nice vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, and from that standpoint, I think you can appreciate cars or anything else. Like when you can appreciate why it costs that cost, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
what love and attention that somebody put into it. I think that's how you can gain a respect for it, you know?
Yeah. See, I can respect that. I can respect it because that was my whole thing with like I didn't understand like people that get expensive cars like that. If you actually have a passion for it and you actually enjoyed, like you said, the history of it, that's one thing. But if you just get in just to be getting, I'm like, all right, bro. Wait, I don't know who you trying to impress.
Right.
I don't care. You know, like I know what I could do with my money, but you know, I just want something to go point A to point B and not blow up. And you know,
and that's totally fine too. Yeah. And that's totally fine. Get yourself a reliable car. And even if you want to elevate it, you don't got to go like balls to the wall and get the most expensive vehicle out there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of great vehicles, plenty of entry tier, mid tier, top tier, whatever it may be. You can find a vehicle at every single tier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So lots of great cars out there, man.
Yeah, man. I'm somewhat in the market, and I was looking at the Genesis GV70s. I just discovered those recently, and those mugs are clean. They're very clean, and you can get the different packages. They have the prestige package where the inside they have like diamond cut leather, stuff like, or diamond stitch leather. I'm just like, this is a practical car, but it's souped up to the gills, and you'll feel good driving it. I'm like, I'm about this. Let me look into this a little bit more.
That's a Hyundai, right?
Yep, Hyundai.
They've done a really good job with their rebranding.
Yeah, they have.
They've made some really, really nice looking vehicles. They perform well. Look, they're like a PGA sponsor. I think like Tiger Woods is sponsored by like Hyundai. So you know, they're nice cars.
Yeah,
they're great. They're affordable. They're reliable. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what it's all about right now.
I'm not there for everybody. Yeah.
No, I got tired. I had my dad used to have a Firebird, and my brother always wanted to drive it, and I know he would ask me if I wanted to drive it every now and then. I told him I was like, I don't want to, one, because it was, I don't know, it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but you know, like, all right, there's certain cars, I guess when you get in and you put your foot on the gas, it don't feel like you pressing it, but you take off. I don't know what that's called, but I didn't like that feeling because I got a lead foot, so I be hitting. I'm up to 60 in a 20, you know what I'm saying, in residential, but also too, I'm 6'3". I don't like getting up and down. That ain't fun for me. So I was like, I got to stick to like SUVs. Let me just get this. Like I'm good. I think the lowest thing I actually owned was like, as far as that sat low, was a Altima at one point.
Okay.
I didn't like getting up and down that, but when we had baby girl, I was like, got to go back to the SUV so we can put this car seat in there and all that stuff. So
definitely.
You know what's funny, man, and that's totally fine. It's like it's almost like the movie Cars, where like every car is its own personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's some days I play the game either when it's with my friends, or I'm just like driving on the freeway and I'm watching like different people pass by. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a personality that matches the vehicle that they drive, which is fine.
What you trying to say? You trying to say?
No. I'm trying to say this much. You just gave me very, very practical reasons to the reason why you choose the car that you want to drive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it totally makes sense. And like I said, there's plenty of models to satisfy that. Like all those great cars. You know what I mean? So that's what I get excited about, is like, oh shit, how do we pair you with your favorite car, with your right car? You know what I mean?
Hey, Rick, he just called me a soccer dad.
Nah, I don't say you label yourself as a soccer dad. You don't
thing I know is leading that way.
Yeah, I'm about to say at one point.
Nah. Soccer dads can be mad swaggy. See, you ever see like the minivans that the import builders be making?
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Don't sweat the technique, man. Yo, Ben Baller got like one of the most swaggiest minivans out there.
I'm okay with a minivan.
It's beautiful. I forgot what it was, but it was like this black on black joint. You know, he had it kitted. And of course, he has kids, so like this is how he, travels with his kids, taking them to school and stuff. And he's got plenty of fast cars, but that's what I mean. It's all about style, bro.
I'm okay. Here's the thing. I'm okay. Like I've gotten to a point in life. I'm okay with all of that. It doesn't offend me. It doesn't bother me at all. I ain't gonna say offend because I don't get offended by that, but it doesn't bother me. I'm okay. I already told my wife I'm down for being the soccer dad. I'm okay with driving a minivan too.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
got plenty of space and all that other stuff,
Just put your little swag on it. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
That's what you got to do.
I'm gonna be good with it. Hey, we got some questions for you before we get into our actual topic. Okay. Just so that way we can give the viewers a little bit about you. Sure. Excuse me, Rick. You want to go ahead and start with them? Excuse me, I gotta get some water. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. The question I had for you was more on the acting side. And it may be real general. You might get it kind of often. But for me personally, I was curious, like, as someone who's been acting, their whole life, what is it like getting ready and getting prepared for a role? Is it a new experience every time? Or is it something that, a skill that you have honed in and you can kind of like flex that muscle and turn the gear on?
I have a set approach, sure, but there's nothing conventional about it. It is prep work. It's a lot of prep work. So before hopping on this call, I was just working with one of my good buddies, my best friend Maestro, and we were doing a self-tape, and same sort of thing. Like, I'm helping him record his self-tape. Mm-hmm. So, we're reading the character, of course, but you start looking at the script immediately and you start asking questions like, okay, well, why is this character, saying this line? What environment? What is the relationship between this person and this character? And, excuse me, especially when you don't have all of the context clues or the information, you have to start deciding those things for yourself until, say, so you get like the full script. If you're just doing an audition, you have to kind of piece together the story. Mm-hmm. And so you're reading like, okay, well, it says he mentions it's a cousin. So are you guys really cousins? It says he's apprehensive. So why is he apprehensive? And then you think about what's the dialogue that he's saying, and then you try to form your thesis about that character around the dialogue. Say for example, I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, you good.
But you know what I mean? So it's generally about reading the text early on, trying to figure out where is the writer coming from, why and how did the writer write this character? What are the things that aren't being said on the page? Where is the space left open for the artist to create? And as a writer and director myself, it's only helped sharpen those skills as an actor.
Yeah.
Because when I write characters, I know what I'm fusing into it and why I've written it a certain way. So then I'm like, oh man, I can respect the writer or the author who then created this character. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, do you? So when you talk about self-tape, because I feel like I run into this a lot, and I always ask like all my other friends that are in it that how do they feel about it? Like, so when you're self-taping, do you find it like, all right? I find like there's a battle, right? Because like I feed so well off of actual interaction. Like if I got somebody in the room with me going through the scene, I feed off of that energy. And so what do you find that there's like a struggle there at all, or not even a struggle necessarily, but what are your I guess if you have any challenges, what are the challenges that you face like when you're self-taping?
The challenges, I think the overall challenge of self-taping is you have the information that you have is limited. Even more limited than when you go into the room.
Yeah.
Because at least when you go into the room, the casting director has an overall idea of what the director wants or what the project requires. And the casting director is almost like a funnel to synthesize that information to you. So then when you're just self-taping, you have to rely on your own instincts, your own training, your own method to break down, say for so, the script.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all. I think that's the only real challenge, because like you said, you can feed off of the energy, but if you're blessed enough to have a scene partner to interact with you, hopefully that energy can be supplemented in other ways. You know what I mean? Yeah. I find self-tapes to be highly soothing and peaceful, because it's almost like putting yourself in a set environment where things are a little bit more controlled. To me, I feel like traditional auditions are structured and funny and not controlled.
Yeah.
Emma, why am I blanking on her name? Emma Stone was once doing a roundtable, and she talked about how like there's something unnatural about auditions, and that she doesn't really like them, because like the magic you would create on set is never the same as what you would create in the room.
Oh, for sure.
In the room, you're almost doing repetition. In the room, you're almost just showcasing skill set. Can you do this, and can you put up reps? There's a magic that comes on set or even on stage that I feel is very different than an audition.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, duh. Like because that's one of the things that I noticed, that when I'm actually on set and I'm doing a scene and and we're recording, like I feel personally I feel more comfortable, because it's like, now, all right, we're actually doing this. But auditions always have felt awkward to me. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's the energy for me. And so like when I'm in the room, I can kind of gauge like from the person that's doing sound to recording to the script supervisor to my actual scene partner. Like I can just feel the energy of everybody in the room. You know what I'm saying? Right. And and what is like when they say cut is important to me, as well as when they're saying action. You know what I mean? And so all that helps me kind of get comfortable. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's just me and I'm just recording, I'm like, sometimes I overthink. I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Whereas when I'm just there, I'm like, I just act. I just do. Right. We're obviously acting, but I just do it. Right. So
yeah, because I mean, you have to be your own sounding board, rather than putting your trust and faith into your director or into the team and being like, hey, relinquish all control. You guys tell me what you need.
Yeah.
There's something freeing about that.
Yeah.
I think it's just overall becoming comfortable with what your instrument is, knowing what you can and cannot do, or what sort of the range, you know what I mean? And Bryan Cranston said something interesting about this. He was like, what changed auditions for him, he was saying the moment he realized that he's going in to give his interpretation, no two actors are going to be the same. No two actors look the same. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe, but give or take, he's going in to give his version of it. This is what he thinks is his interpretation of the text.
Yeah.
Rather than I need this job, rather than I'm fighting for this job amongst my friends or my peers. No, it's, hey, I'm coming in to show you what it is that I think are the flavors that I could bring to this. Do you like this or do you not? You know what I mean? And it really takes the pressure off of the auditioning process.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
I would say look up his quote because I think he says it way more eloquently than I just put it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
I get where you're going. I get where you're going though. So yeah,
that's a cool approach on it for sure.
Yeah. You like, I'm just gonna give you my version of it. You like it or you don't. Simple as that. I like it. Yeah.
So I realized you said like how the casting director is looking for you, what the director is looking for in their character. And I noticed that you played in a film Bad Lieutenant, and that was the Werner Herzog film. And I know Werner Herzog is kind of, he's his own entity when it comes to directors and writers and producers in itself. And so I was very curious, what was it like being on a project that was directed by Werner Herzog?
Man, he is Werner's a character, man. But you know what? I love it because he's somebody who's kind of self-taught. He's just a big, massive student of film and film education. He taught me he taught me this really interesting trick. There's a scene that I have where I'm kind of caught between a lie, and he says there's conflict in the eyes always. If you watch anybody's performance, especially like if somebody's becoming emotional or if they're tense or if they're about to cry or whatnot, there's conflict. And if you study, the next time you find yourself in an altercation with somebody, watch how their eyes shift left and right. And it's the smallest thing, especially when they become emotional. And so he literally came up to me, put a finger in front of me, and he just went like this back and forth. He was like, "You feel your eyes moving? Okay, great. I want you to repeat the scene. And at the moment where there's actual conflict, try to be mindful of your eyes moving." It's the subtlest thing, but on camera, it makes the biggest difference, especially when you're doing a close-up that's like right here.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, he notices the little things. I remember during filming the iguanas and the breakdancer, basically spinning. There's a scene in the movie where Nicolas Cage, there's a shootout that happens, and this dude's soul is spinning like a breakdancer.
Yeah.
I remember Werner being so enamored with iguanas. It was the only thing he talked about. Him and Nick would be preparing the scene, but he's already thinking like 5-10 days ahead. Yes, but it all needs to relate to the iguana. He would talk about theory, but that's how he thinks. He thinks in metaphor and detail, and it's a very interesting approach, the way he approaches story. But I love it. It's this beautiful methodology to the way he crafts a story.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. That's cool. Very cool.
He goes with the flow, man. He's one of those that, like, it was him and Gavin O'Connor around the same time, maybe within a year span of working with both of those directors. They really kind of influenced me jumping behind the camera.
Okay.
So what do you like? What do you like more? You like being on? Well, I guess what I won't say. What do you like more? Because I feel like that's, what are some of the things that you enjoy about directing and things that you enjoy about acting? Would say that.
I'm glad you said that. They're two different hats.
Yeah.
They're two very different headspaces. As an actor, I enjoy character building. I enjoy the pretend, the make believe of it all.
Yeah.
The study. I enjoy just like studying humans, studying characters. Why are we making these choices? I think it not only does it continue to give me insight about myself, but it also continues to help me gain compassion for things that I don't understand, or choices from people that I would otherwise look at and be like, well, that's weird. But then you can start to understand once you start thinking, especially when it comes to like playing an antagonist, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Because when by nature an antagonist is written for you to not necessarily deem their actions as like, something that's noble. Let's just say that, right?
Yep.
So you want to judge this character, but if it's well written, you can understand within reason why they're making the choices they're making. And if you do your character study, or you at least build this, background for this character, then it's like, oh man, that life choice and that life choice combined with this action and no other choice. Okay, I could see how somebody would do that. I don't necessarily have to agree with it, but I can understand.
Yeah.
So it gives me this this deeper sense of empathy for maybe characters who I might meet in life who maybe just been dealt bad hands.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Nobody can fault you for that. Nobody can judge but God. But I now understand.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about acting. With directing and writing, it's with directing and writing, to me, it kind of the similar love I have for cars is a similar love I have for storytelling.
Yeah.
Because one bolt in an engine that's either missing, or one wrong gasket, one wrong part, the whole engine can fail. It's prone to failure. It's the same thing with a film. Not one singular entity can make a film on its own. It's the sum of multiple parts and all of these things that are being concocted together to make this whole.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love building something from scratch. And then all of a sudden we can craft this into a much larger idea. Like, there's something fun about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. World building seems dope. I've been getting into the writing side of it just because I've learned from also my friends, expressing like, hey man, this also helps the acting side of it, because when you start as a writer, when you're building characters, you're also thinking about how this character will respond in the world, right? Because when you're writing, what they were explaining to me is like, when you're writing characters, you don't want to write them just to do stuff just because you want it to be done that way. It's once you build this character out, this is a real person, right? Now, how does this real person respond? Because everything that they are, whether they're Christian or atheist, you know what I'm saying? Whether they're black or white, or, how their age, their, what I'm saying? All these different things, like these little details about a person changes the way they respond to their environment, right? And so it's very interesting, because now when I receive, an audition or something like that, it goes back to that where I have to think about who this character is, and now I have to be able to, like you say, empathize with them and understand their story, their background. So, and sometimes like if like when I'm doing stuff with my friends, they'll send me the background of the character, so that also helps too. I don't have to create that background, but yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope.
Well, it's fun, man. It's
oh yeah,
we get to play pretend 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Like people have Halloween once a year.
So I'm thinking,
you know what I mean?
Like once a year for me,
for sure. But it's film
about that. Yeah,
film is all year round. Now, well, so who is somebody that you would want to work with that you haven't worked with yet, and then somebody that you've really enjoyed working with? And you ain't got to say me, because we already know we don't want to.
Come on, man.
We just, hey, look, just leave me out of it. But just go into the catalog. You know what I'm saying?
We don't want Rick to feel left out. You feel
me?
Exactly.
I don't want Rick to feel left out, bro.
Who have I enjoyed working with, man? I mean, there's been plenty of, huh?
This is no slight to anybody that you have worked with either.
No, absolutely. No, I mean, look, I've been blessed enough to work with at every stage just incredible thespians in their own right who really love the craft, and it's tough. Every project brings every gem. I don't know if I could singularly isolate one person.
Okay, let's say this. Favorite, or most enjoyable set.
Why are you making me pick favorites?
I feel like that narrows it down. That's like movies now. That's like movies, TV shows.
Why are you making me pick favorites? Okay.
All right.
No. Because all right. Sets that I've really enjoyed. I really enjoyed working on YouTube videos. It's one of my favorite projects. Out of my entire filmography, it's literally one of my favorite projects. Really? I really enjoyed working on Black Panther, of course. Never had an experience that was that expansive. I mean, wow, what an experience. Same with Great Debaters. Great Debaters did so much more for my life and career than I could ever repay it. But the experience on set was wholeheartedly life-changing. Abduction, which was just a fun movie that I got to do with my friends. And, you know, one of my good friends came and stayed with me because he is in New York. We shot that in Pittsburgh, and it was like, what a time we had that summer. What a time. There is a quintessential mixtape that we have coined as like the time that we've had. And the same goes for I shot a project in South Africa called Back to School Mom. And that was same sort of thing. Like, again, same friend came down there with another mutual friend of ours, and we're all like crashing in this one hotel room. What a fantastic time with fantastic people. So I've been blessed enough to have great experiences with great people. And like I said, great, you know, thespians in their own right, you know, people who just love the craft. So it's I don't, what is favorites? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't have to be favorites. Just you enjoyed them. You enjoyed.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
That's the most important thing.
Who would I want to work with? Couple people. I want to work with Spielberg. Okay. I want to work with Tarantino before he's done shooting film. I want to work with Mike B. Jordan.
Okay.
Really admire what that brother's doing. Sam Jackson. Meryl Streep.
Okay.
I want to work with Matthew McConaughey because I think he'd be just great, just dope as a person. There's a couple people on my list. I honestly have like a short list. Of cars that I want to obtain and people I want to work with.
It's actually shocking. Like you said, Spielberg. You said Spielberg, Tarantino, Sam Jack, Michael B. Was Michael B? Did y'all not? Y'all didn't cross paths on Black Panther?
So we did, but we actually like none of our scenes were together.
Right.
I want to work with him in the capacity because I just admire and respect what he's doing.
Right.
Everything that he's doing. He's one of those where like him, like Jordan Peele is another one that's on my list. You know, I want to work with him. These are guys who I just respect how they're pushing the culture forward.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, for us as Black, you know, people of color.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. That's dope. That's dope.
Oh man, that was like Denis Villeneuve. I want to work with him. Roger Deakins, I just met him last week. Would love to work with Roger Deakins before he's done making film.
Yeah.
Man, there's a list. Yeah.
Hey, that's a heck of a list.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm shocked. I feel like you would have. I don't know. I guess Spielberg. I feel like that you would have worked with him at some point.
No,
you've been doing it for a minute, and I don't know why. I just feel like you would have at some point. That's why I was shocked when you started with that. I was like,
Spielberg is a master of his craft, and I just want to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, oh, absolutely,
really do.
Absolutely.
He has made some of my favorite all-time films. When we think about Indiana Jones, when we think about E.T., when we think about Jurassic Park, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Catch Me If You Can, Minority Report. I mean, the list goes on. Even Back to the Future as an executive producer of that project. I mean, hell, he was a part of my childhood with what was it? Animaniacs. Was it Animaniacs?
Oh,
there was Animaniacs, and then there was Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons.
Wait a minute.
Okay. He was executive producer of Tiny Toons. I mean, Spielberg's legacy goes so far back.
He really was Animaniacs, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know he crossed into that room.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, look, I'm only listing some of his projects. Think about how expansive all of his projects are.
Oh, yeah.
And even what he's doing now. I mean, what he just did with the Fablemans was incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm man, I look at that level and I be feeling the same way. I'm like, man, one day, let me just be an extra. Let me be an extra.
I just want to learn. I would shadow, if I could take some time off, whatever it may be, I would just be there for free. I would.
Have you actually met him?
I've never met him.
Okay, no. That was my next question, because I was like, all right, because I want to know what he's like in person. I've heard some stories that he's pretty cool, but just because I have a friend that knows, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that's been in the room with them.
Right.
Just worked on some projects with him, and they said he was amazing to work with. So I'm just kind of curious. I wanted to hear from a firsthand experience.
I hear nothing but great things.
Yeah.
As I would imagine.
Yeah.
I would believe the person who's capable of making all those projects, and you never really know somebody until you know them, but you can kind of get a sense. You can gauge somebody from afar.
Right.
And from all the interviews, his documentaries that I've seen, just the type of character, who he is and what he stands for and how he, carries himself.
Yeah.
Seems like an incredible individual.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, we wanted to get into our topic.
Yeah.
But we're going to start here. We're going to start here because you made a film a couple years ago. Loved it. I watched it. 5150.
Yes.
Do you remember this? Because you do a lot of stuff. No, I'm playing with you. I know you remember. But you wrote and directed a film, co-wrote and directed a film, 5150, and it was basically about, for the viewers out there, it's basically and you can always jump in and add to it. I'm gonna give my synopsis. There's a celebrity, right? There's a celebrity that he has some outspoken views on the current state of the society. I believe it was during Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
And he has some views and outspoken views in regards to that. At some point he becomes considered mentally unstable, and he gets 5150, which I just learned that was actually a code. I didn't know that was a code for the mandatory 72-hour mental institution. So all the title, the movie made sense to me. The title, I didn't understand that was actual code.
Yeah.
Learn something new. Anywho, so then he gets 5150. He gets put in a mental facility.
Mm-hmm.
And basically reality begins to get distorted at this point. So I say this not so much to just go so much on the movie, but in writing that, because a lot of writers come from real places. It might not necessarily be their particular story, but it comes from a place that they've seen or heard of before, or they've had some experience with in some capacity. And this took me down a rabbit hole of how often, or not, I don't want to say that. Let me rephrase this question. What is what is the process? What do you think that, all right, when a person or a public figure becomes so prominent that the things that they say become so people cling to it, right? is there a moment that you think that if they say anything out of line, that there are whatever the forces are to be, or that you believe that there can be, I'm trying to choose my words carefully,
Sure.
that there is a counteracting force that wants to quiet that. You know what I mean?
I do.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there aren't counteracting forces, and especially when you're dealing with big money, political games are always something that come into play. And we could look at lessons in history to know that that's always going to be something that's just a part of human nature.
Yeah.
But in the case of like celebrities or well-known figures, public figures, there's a lot riding on the line. Studios, corporations, endorsements, powers that may be, whatever those powers look like.
Yeah.
It is bigger than them. So to say, is there a counteracting force or that things can be taken away? Sure. And I don't think it has to be as malicious.
Yeah.
Or as like secret society as we've sort of painted it in 5150. But you are a business entity at a certain level of your celebrity, especially when you are a personality. Once you become a quote unquote public figure or personality, you are just as much a walking entity as whatever it is that you stand for.
Yeah. Because like when Rick and I were talking about this, the biggest name that I could think of with that was he didn't necessarily get 5150, but Dave Chappelle. The way that he got painted after he left the Chappelle show, right? And so like that kind of, because after watching that, and then I thought about Dave Chappelle's story and just where he's at now, it makes me feel like it's especially as a creative and being a public figure, it's straining to be able to get your message across without feeling like you could lose everything just for, you know what I mean, just for making a stance on something, because it's almost a it's almost a lose-lose, right? Because if you're a prominent, especially in the Black community, right? Because we're, however you want to view it, we're bad or good about this, holding our Black celebrities accountable, right? So when something happens in our community and they don't speak on it, we got a problem with it. But when they do speak on it, and whatever happens to them, they get deemed to be, whatever they get deemed to be in the media, we don't always support them. You know what I mean? There's that line drawn, and so then I feel like it's tough on that public figure. You know what I mean? And it makes it easier to deem them as crazy because there's no, you know what I'm getting at. It's kind of hard to.
I do, and that's one of the core. That's like one of the core themes, the core thesis of 5150 that we try to analyze is this relationship between public figure and the masses that consume. Because there is this weird relationship, healthy and unhealthy. Like you said, it's we love you until we don't.
Yeah.
Do everything we need you to do until we deem it unacceptable. Once we deem it unacceptable, it's cancel culture. It's write them off. It's never really trusted them anyway. Oh, I knew they were crazy from the start. There's zero tolerance on either side. We either love you or we hate you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we see that with one entity. Sometimes we see that when celebrities get together, and now we have two fan bases coming together, and then they split up, and it's almost like, well, which one do we like more?
Yeah.
Even in judging in the, court of public opinion, it's like, look at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, trials.
True.
Which do we like more? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's this weird thing where we have this love and this put celebrities on a pedestal, so to speak,
and
we deem them great, and we cling on to every single word. What makes their opinion any different than anybody else's opinion? But their platform is so massive.
Yeah.
News spreads like wildfire, and now the news cycle wants to know, and they want to republish it so we can all talk about it, But who's to say that such and such celebrity is even qualified to talk about politics?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's to say they're qualified to talk about conflict in the Middle East?
Yeah, that's always been weird to me because I remember I'm a LeBron James fan.
Yeah.
But I remember when there was the issue with China and Hong Kong that was going on. And I remember that it was very weird because there was like a group of people, not everybody, but there was a group of people that wanted LeBron to say something about that. And because they were like, oh, you're so vocal about the Black Lives Matter, but you don't speak on the China Hong Kong thing. And I was so confused because I'm like, what tie does he have to that? Like, I don't know what is he going to, I don't know what he's going to do about that.
Possibly, could he say?
And it's tough because, he is very vocal about certain political issues.
Yeah.
And he uses his platform, wisely. He's also human. So, there's error to be had along the way in course correction. But the lack of forgiveness we have when an error does arise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially now with like Twitter fingers and, everybody has an opinion on the internet. Yeah. It's not only their opinion, it's doubled down by the echo chambers around them of people now, responding to the feedback that you put forth.
Yeah.
And everybody's got to have opinion and it's got to be instant. Yeah. So again, he very well may be qualified. I mean, in that instance, sure, we've seen what came about of that, but like, for any instance, maybe he is the right person to talk about it. Maybe he isn't.
It just
we live or die on his word.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just weird. It was just weird because it was like, all right, it's like, all right, for example, if something happens in the black community, right? I wouldn't expect, just throwing a name out, I wouldn't expect Tom Cruise to come and jump in and say something about that, right? Like I'm not gonna if he doesn't say anything about it, I'm not gonna vilify him for not commenting on it because it's not a community that he's a part of, and I hate that we, I know that there's like this divide, not necessarily a divide, but there's communities that we come from because of similar shared experiences, right? Yeah. And there's a shared experience that he wouldn't have with this community. That why would he be a spokesperson for that? And so that was kind of like my same thing about like, with the China Hong Kong thing. Yeah, whatever's going on, unfortunate, but I don't know why he would be
what validates him.
Yeah. Like I didn't get that. And so I'm like, how are you going to vilify him for not saying anything? It's like, duh. if he says something, it might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it can look even worse because it's like, bro, why are you speaking on this? This is not your experience.
So that's like, man, somebody recently did this with Jamie Foxx and
oh yes, you're talking about when he made the they gonna talk about you, or
it was something along that lines.
He said they crucified Jesus. What makes you think they ain't gonna talk about you or something like that?
Yeah, and I think Jennifer Aniston stepped in when it was her, place or time to step in.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. Like,
it's like, why?
It's like, did you need to step in and say something? Also, too, once you did, how do you backtrack that? Yeah. The whole point of all of this is like, once it's out, you can't really walk back any of this.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes better than not say anything. Jordan made an entire career out of it. As he explained, it's like, way back then, more sports players today are far more vocal about, said issues that are outside of even, their realm of sports.
Yeah.
Jordan, on the other hand, became a global star and he chose not to talk about it. Now, again, is that a best use of his platform? Maybe not. If you have this platform and you could speak on something and bring awareness to it, then sometimes it's a good thing. It's just, to me, it's the flippant nature of how quickly, society, turns on that switch, and we love you, and next day we hate you, and we love you again, and we hate you. It's that toxic relationship.
Yeah.
There's very little forgiveness, or how would I say? There's very little range.
Yeah.
That's because I'm at a loss for words right now.
There's no gray area. There's no gray area. It's
not at all.
Our society is completely black or white, right?
Correct.
So if you agree with, if you feel this way, then you feel this way. So if you like this, you hate this. If you hate this, you like this. There's no gray area, and the analogy was used once. It was like, I think it was like they were talking about like pizza, right? If I said I dislike pepperoni pizza, then the society is going to tell you, oh, you just hate pizza. Like, no, I just don't like pepperoni pizza. I still eat cheese and everything else. I just don't like pepperoni. And so it's like, that's where our society is black or white. So whatever I say, I'm on this stance regardless, right? And social media makes it worse because they're the king of drawing the line, right? So wherever you stand, that's where, and then the algorithm, of course, they feed you a bunch of stuff, and it only makes you think you're validating your point or whatever it is, and you're gonna go even harder now. You know what I mean? But it's absolutely wild, and it's hard. It seems for public figures, it seems like that is a difficult road to travel, right? Because it's so easy for you to be deemed crazy, or I don't want to say crazy. I feel like that's, I don't know if that's politically correct or not, but it's so easy to say that somebody is not well mentally. Let's just say that.
Or they're being too emotional.
Yeah.
It's tough because you literally have your life under a microscope, so to speak. And with the access of social media and everybody like instantly knowing what you're up to day to day, we want you to feed us information. You know what I mean? It keeps the numbers up. It keeps the engagement up. Everybody wants to know what you're doing at every single second, if you weren't already under a microscope. So then it's like, when do you get this time to yourself? When do you get to develop yourself? When do you get to make your mistakes? You know what I mean? And we see it especially with like kid actors. And so kind of to go back to your original statement and answer a little bit of your question too, is like, I remember what it was like where some of my said friends were on hot Disney Nickelodeon shows and watching from afar what that fame early on looked like, and watching how they now had to be super careful and cautious about their image. You're 15 thinking about what your social image is. What your public forward-facing self is. You know what I mean? Every move that you make, and then you're just trying to be a kid. Kids make mistakes. You know what I mean? It's look at Bieber for an example. You know what I mean? Like, we literally watched him grow up in front of us in real time. And I asked not to say that this is to excuse any of his behavior, but are some of the things that Bieber has done, would we not have done the same things? But we're not celebrities. We don't have cameras on us. We've all have skeletons in our closet, big and small. You know what I mean? And then some of us have done some things that are pretty noble as well. But we're watching in real time always what's going on. And every single time something happens, again, we're quick to comment on it. We got to have a reaction. We got to either praise him or chastise him. Using Bieber as an example. So now you're growing up in real time, trying to figure yourself out, as well as the world telling you who you should and should not be as well.
That's
where's the room to be himself? Himself is.
That's it right there. It's like you can't. It seems like it would be difficult to figure out who you are in that environment. You know what I mean? Especially like you said, as a kid, because kids don't know who they are. You spend all of your middle school years, nobody knows who they are. All right. And then once you get beyond that point, high school, you start figuring out some of your interests, right? And you start finding your social groups and all that thing. But when you're a child, it seems like when you're a child in the entertainment industry, you don't get to have those experiences. Right now, I don't know what was it. I'll ask you this, because what was it like for you? I mean, I know you were a child, child actor, and you've been in it for a long time. So what was that like for you navigating that?
I had to grow up quick.
Yeah.
I had about as normal of a childhood as I think I could have had.
Mm-hmm.
But circumstantially, there was nothing normal about my childhood.
Yeah.
I went to public school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe let's say out of the 4 years of high school, maybe my attendance record would tally up to only a year in total. Oh, and the rest I was doing, studies while I was on set.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's like you missed prom, barely got to graduate. I came back maybe like a week before graduation, and it was questionable whether I'd even be able to walk the stage or not. You miss your homecomings, or which I don't really know what any of this stuff is anyway.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, sure, you miss these quote unquote things that are supposed to be like a part of your childhood. And then some of it you get to enjoy. Like, again, you get to have the sleepovers, hang out with your friends, the pizza parties, the debauchery where you steal your parents' car and you go drive it somewhere. Like, the stupid stuff. Again, kids being kids.
Yeah.
But in that same regard, I was working on set with adults, shooting whatever my legal, hours were on set. My mom there. You have to be professional.
Yeah.
Tell you it's time to go to work. You go to work. Got to know your lines. You got to be up early. Sometimes you got to be up late. Sometimes you got to learn. But when that camera turns on, the only difference between you and an adult is just they have the wisdom of what they need to do. But you still got to perform, because now there are dollars on the line. So yeah, at the age of 10, I became a working child, but I was in a working environment with adults.
Man, because that was my next question was, what was school like for you? But yeah, if you said it was only equal to a year of high school as far as attendance wise.
Maybe if you combined all 4 years and how many days I actually showed up, okay, maybe a year and a half, something like that. Couldn't have been no more than that. I mean, my truancy record was wild.
Oh, wait. They still hit you with the truancy, even though, like, is there not an explanation of like, hey,
it is because, look, my school was very well aware of what I was doing. I've been doing it since elementary school. So all middle school, I was primed for. By the time I got to high school, we had a very working system. All of my studies, I'm required to do schooling while I'm even shooting. So there's a mandatory 4 hours or 5 hours, I think we have to do of school while we're on set. And whether that's in between filming, at the beginning of the day, end of the day, I cannot leave until that 4 or 5 hours is done. I believe it's 4 hours. Don't quote me on that.
I won't. It's recorded.
Yeah. Huh?
I won't. It's recorded.
Okay, fine. But you know what I mean? Like, so all of my studies, I got done. I had like a 3.8 GPA, I think, when I left.
Oh,
so
okay.
They completed everything. It was just attendance.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would mark me as not being there.
Oh, that's bogus. That's bogus.
Right.
It's like, dog, hey, they got me on set. I gotta save the world in this next scene. You cannot mark me truant. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Hey, man, it's an interesting situation. I don't regret anything about my childhood. I'm grateful for it. But I'm also, look, in that same breath, I have to give all respect to my parents and the people around me.
Yeah.
Kept me grounded. When it was time to go to work and hang out and be within the social scene of Hollywood, great. We go do it.
Yeah.
Right after it's done, you better get your ass back up in the car. We going back home. And I can only kick it for so much. I only kicked it with the Hollywood scene, and then I kicked it with my friends back home. And like I said, I was very blessed to have a home life that was detached from Hollywood, even though I live in LA. I'm born and raised.
Yeah.
And my parents, my community, my friends around me, thank God everybody kept me grounded, man.
Did anybody, when you actually were at school, did anybody actually treat you different from, oh man, Denzel on TV, he act like he too good to be at school.
Yes, and no. I mean, look, where I grew up in Palos Verdes. Palos Verdes is like a suburban community that's south of Los Angeles, about 45 to 50 miles south of Los Angeles.
Okay.
So it's down by the harbor. Down there, life is definitely more like beach life. Definitely more normal. Your doctors, your dentists, your architects, your engineers, more trade jobs, professional jobs, etc.
Okay.
So the community that I was raised around, like we all lived on this hill, this peninsula. I pretty much knew all of them because we all grew up together. Okay. Same people I went to elementary school with, I went to middle school with, went to high school with. And obviously, like the changes between like there's only 2 high schools or maybe 3 on the hill. There's only 3 middle schools on the hill, only a couple handful of elementary schools. So as you can imagine, like people know each other.
So
like growing up in a small town. So if you knew me in elementary school, you're gonna know I'm probably still doing this.
Yep.
Yeah. You can only treat me so different. And then the people who didn't know me, they happen to be super cool. Like let's see, last month I ran into somebody that I went to school with, and it was just like, oh man, we remember you. You were the actor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it seems like it would probably be more like, I don't know. It's different. Like being out here. Like if somebody was an actor in my school here in Kansas City, like it'd be like, oh, hey, bro, on TV, like you know what I'm saying. It'd be a lot more shocking. But I guess because you guys are,
it does help. I guess being in LA, you know what I mean. Like it's a little bit more common.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. I get that.
Yeah, being in Omaha, there'll be one person in the whole city, they'll be like, at that certain school, that person's doing big things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for instance, let's see. I know Stephanie, she's doing incredibly well. There's a lady by the name of Stephanie Shu. She was in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. Yeah.
She has another movie coming out. I mean, we went to school together. We graduated the same grade. And she was a part of the drama program as well. And, acting was something that she always wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
And now look at her. She was like a Oscar nominated. Yeah. Everything Everywhere All at Once won. Yep. So she's Academy Award winning film.
See, man, because all right, our celebrities are different, right? Yeah. Our celebrities are usually going to be athletes because that's what's coming up out of here. Like in my high school, there's an NBA player. He still plays, Alec Burke. He plays for the Pistons, and then we had a quarterback, Josh Freeman, that played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then went to Minnesota. So those are our like equivalent for like celebrities, right? So that it's going to be a big deal because it's only like I said, there was only 2, and they came out during the same time that I was in school. But then like after that and before that, there weren't really any bigger names that came out. There's guys that have done well, but they hadn't made it to that level, right?
Right.
So that's why I asked that. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh well, you're right there next to it. So it's kind of like, all right, maybe it is a little bit more common and people don't really freak out like that.
I don't think, unless I'm highly underlooking at this entire situation. But it didn't feel that crazy. Yeah. Maybe I'm being more naive than I should. But no, it felt common,
Yeah, just accept it as common. If you didn't feel like it was it bothered you or affected your daily life, maybe it was common. Yeah, for sure. Rick, you had something else. I thought. My bad.
Beats me. Oh, man.
Nah. Hey, we do usually before we don't want to take up too much of your time, but we do before we get off. We play a game. All right, it's a Wikipedia game.
Oh, boy.
All right, here's the thing. Here. Hey, Rick, this is what I just thought about too, bro. Just use incognito because if you use incognito, that way it doesn't save in your history.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm not trying to have my history like this, bro.
All right. What are y'all looking up?
It's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy. Not
at all. That's what they always say before they tell you something crazy.
So look, this is the wiki game we play, right? All right. There's a starting point and then there's an ending point. Okay. We start with a topic and we say, okay, We're gonna start with this Wikipedia page. You have to make it to this page using only the hyperlinks within those pages. Make sense?
Am I going to these links?
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to open up a page myself, right?
Yeah.
You're actively doing it, yo.
Actively doing it.
All right. Let me open up a page. Hold on.
We'll we'll let you choose the starting point and end point.
Starting point and end point.
Mm-hmm. What page do you want to start with? Usually we start somewhere with our topic. So
all right, so give me an example. I'm on Wikipedia right now.
Let's do this. All right, so let's start with man, 5150. It doesn't have a wiki, does it?
No, I don't think it does.
Okay. All right. Hey, let's do this then. Let's start with your wiki. Let's start with you. We'll let you pick. We'll let you pick the end point. Where are we ending? Anything. It can be anything. It can be just a random thing. It can be a car. It can be anything you want it to be.
Start with my Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
We have to end with
person, place, or thing, event.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It can be like Boston Tea Party.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. Snake plants.
Snake plants?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Is there a Wikipedia plant? I don't know. Sure.
Like the house plant, right? The common house plant.
Sure. Like it's snake plants that you put in the house.
Okay, so is it this right here? Just to make sure.
That looks like snake plants. Yeah.
All right, cool. So it does have a Wikipedia page. This is what it's called, though.
Oh yeah.
All right,
that joint.
Okay, so we're gonna start with your page, and we got to get to snake plant.
Okay. All right, so we are.
That is alrighty.
That is going to be a wild one.
I didn't create the game.
All right, no, yeah, that's fair. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it.
Now, what are we supposed to be doing? Are we doing this as a team? Solo?
No. First person to find it. So you just use your hyperlinks, only the little blue hyperlinks. But use those to get to the actual.
So
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first person to find it, and also the person that uses the least amount of links.
Yeah.
I'm also reading my Wikipedia. How do people know this information? Good Lord. All right.
So that's a question I want to ask. So okay, so do you ever just look at it just to make sure people ain't putting fake stuff in your wiki?
I try to not look myself up too often.
I got you. That's
fair.
I feel like this is gonna be crazy because I don't even know if I remember what that thing was called.
Snake plant.
Snake plant, but yeah, there was like a technical name for it.
Once you hit snake plant, that'll come up.
Oh, really? Is it an
I don't know. I hope.
No, I don't think it will.
So you already got there? Who got there already?
Nope, but I'm working on it.
All right. Yeah, I'm
vegetation of any kind.
I'm finding my way.
Are you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I think I'm gonna get there though.
Are you?
I think so. I forgot the name though.
Kind of spinning in circles up here.
That was me last week.
Hey.
Well, I haven't got off the first page, so.
Duh. All right, so I'll give y'all a little hint to get y'all.
Hold on, wait, don't give any hints.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, my bad. Y'all seem like y'all were struggling.
Ooh.
Oh, well, hold on. I think I just unlocked something.
Did you?
Yeah. You know.
What'd you do?
Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, there's a rule. You can't go back.
Well, I haven't.
Nah, I'm just making sure. I forgot to mention that.
All right. Hold on.
Are you getting there? You can't be.
Yeah. Hold on.
You can't be. I'm not buying it. I think you just hyping.
Nah, see, you gotta remember, I grew up.
Gosh, snake plant. What the heck?
Yeah.
Dang.
I guess I don't know nothing about snake plants either.
All right, see, I'm close. I know I'm close. I'm on the cusp of figuring this out.
Ah,
Oh gosh. What the heck?
Yes. Okay.
Wait. Damn it, I can't go back.
Nope, you got to keep going. You got to click a link.
You can click this. You can click a link that's the same.
Yeah, you can do that.
So how are we gonna know the history?
Well, whoever makes it first, that's what we're gonna go with. So if you get there first,
yeah, I guess that's true. And then we just go back through, see how we got there. This is definitely a plant.
I forgot the name of it. What was the name of it? I know it's snake plant, but what was the actual? Does anybody remember?
Hold on.
Hold on.
There's no way.
Hold on. I just need to know the name.
Hold up. I'm using a separate tab. I'm just gonna type in the name real quick.
That's what I was gonna do.
Cheater.
Yeah. I'm not cheating. I promise I'm not. I'm not even gonna. It's called a Dracalia trifasciata.
Yeah, can we throw that in the chat?
Yeah, hold on.
I need a separate damn, it's close.
Is it in there?
Here, I got you.
You threw it in there?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I
don't see it.
Hold on.
You put it in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why do I not see it?
Why is it private chat?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Y'all are about to be destroyed.
How? There's no way that you've gotten there.
That might have been the wrong move.
I got it.
No way.
I did. Bada bang. I'm here.
Nah, flip that. Share your screen.
I'm here. Dang it. How do you view the history?
I feel like you cheated.
I did not cheat. Hold on.
What happened?
Okay.
Oh, wait. It's because I'm in a private tab.
Yeah.
Incognito.
Oh, I did, huh? You can't just go back, huh?
I mean, I can go back, yeah.
I'm on my phone, that's why. Yeah.
Okay.
If you made it there, just go back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then here we go. All right. Okay. You want to share the screen then?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Well, let me go ahead and present this. Let's see. Share screen. All right. Share. Here we go. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So here's the plant, right? We confirmed this is the snake plant. All right. Now the way I got there was, let's see what page this is. So the main plant, which I got there by Succulent Plants, which I got there by Botanical Garden.
Okay.
Which was by South Coast Botanical Garden.
Okay.
Which was by Palos Verdes Peninsula. Which was Rolling Hills, California. Palos Verdes Peninsula High School. And me.
This is why. This is why. I knew I shouldn't have started with his page, but all right. Congratulations, man. Good job.
Yeah.
That was good, man. That was good. Good.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know,
baby girl. Hey, yeah, man. Hey,
I remember I grew up there, so you know.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. I'm like, snake plant. Like, there's no way anybody's gonna find this. Hey, that's good. Hey, you know what? We gotta let the guests win.
Nah,
that's true.
You can feel good, man. You can feel good.
Sympathy win. All right.
Feel good about your time here, man. Like, hey, at least I won.
Can't leave with a bad taste in your mouth.
Right. That's when you take your cousin to what is that? What's the Dave and Buster's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'll let you win the little pop shot game. Yeah, I'll let you win. I'll let you win. But yeah, man. Hey, Denzel, man, we appreciate your time, brother. You want to shout out anything that you're working on or anything that you can talk about, whatever it may be? Go ahead, feel free.
There is something I'm working on right now called Brand New.
Okay.
Starring my brothers Maestro, Chris Lofton, co-written, co-directed, co-edited by Quincy Ledbetter and I, produced by Yuki Ledbetter, Ramphis Myrtle, and that will be coming out next year.
Next year. Okay. Is it just next year or is there like a
No, there's nothing.
A rough date?
Coming out next year. There's also a project that I starred in called The Private Eye. It's starring Matt Rife, Eric Roberts, Claire Grant, I believe is her last name. My brother Elliot. So that's going to be coming out in February 2024.
Nice. Okay. Well, man, hey, we always hope for your success, brother. And we thank you for just taking time out and just coming to hang out with us and talk. And man, anytime that you want to jump back in, just let us know, man. You can hop back in here anytime. We appreciate you, man.
Well, next has got to be something ridiculous, like the Great Wall of China. We got to figure out how to get to or something. And the Wiki game.
Yeah, we can do that next time too, man. Hey, we'll get that all situated. We'll chop it up, bro. We'll chop it up, and if you down for it, man, hey, we'll do it again. So
fair enough. That was fun.
Yeah, man.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, Rick and Jordy.
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure. But that's been another week of the Rick and Jordy podcast. Again, I'm one half of your host, Jordy,
and I'm the other half of your host, Rick.
And we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.